And action! Action!
Hi, this is SS Wilson, back with another episode. And yeah, this was a tough shot to get. So let's go back to the very beginning with some of my dad's video from pre-production when he happened to get the trailer before it was painted.
Down there is the old trailer.
You have to appreciate my dad's video style here. If a shot is worth one long, slow pan, it's easily worth two. But on another of those pans, he also caught the bulldozer before it was painted. And later he came back and caught them both after they had their special rust paint jobs.
Look, the Caterpillar has been transformed and hooked up to the trailer. And the town dump is getting dumpier all the time.
The rig lived at the town dump for most of production, but inevitably it came time to move it out to that final location at the base of the Sierra Nevada mountains.
Yeah, you can see people for miles down there.
The views were fantastic in all directions. That is the little town of Lone Pine, right there in the middle distance, just about due east of this location. They had been working on our famous fake rocks for quite some time, and I found these two stills of them under construction, but they were done by this time, of course, and we were quite impressed with them. Here was what Ron Underwood had to say.
Can you spell that for me?
What are we going to do with this sculpture? We have to donate it to some.
You go to somebody, yeah.
Magic Mountain. We'll make a new ride. It'll be the Universal Studio Tour Graboid ride.
Here's another angle of this amazing location. I had grabbed the video camera and I was busily documenting my obsession with our very realistic fake rocks.
There's a real rock. And there are the art department's rocks.
But the time to shoot the big stunt was getting closer, and we were all more worried about this than anything else we tried in the movie. You can hear Ron in this take.
It's a big question what this thing is going to do when it goes in the pit. I don't think anybody has any idea, as far as that trailer.
They had started work on the pit days before, but strangely neither Dad nor I shot any video. I did find these blurry Polaroids from when they were testing the bulldozer driving in and out. Then I found these three stills, indicating that the work did get a little exciting. The graboid trap almost caught one of our production vehicles. Well, they did save their truck, and they forged ahead. But the pit itself created a new problem. This location was on public land, and we had very strict conditions for shooting there. We were not allowed to make any new roads or even widen the existing road. So once it was started, the pit was literally blocking our one road, which led to situations like this.
Let's put it this way, Gary, I'm not going to stop the dressing of the pit. If the camera truck can just, if it has to stop in front of the pit and walk the rest of the way, that's what we'll have to do.
As was often the case, before we could shoot the big stunt, there were other shots we needed, so the crew and cast started preparing to work on those. And quick digression here, here's the lightweight rubber copy of Bert's big elephant gun. And here's the real gun and the copy together. I can't tell you which is which.
This on here. Everybody's getting ready. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Look at that. Reba McEntire knew who I was. Constantly monitoring is Assistant Director Mike DePuzian, responsible for keeping us on schedule and herding slow-moving people.
Behind the camera, please. Okay, guys. Whoever's not in the shot, start walking behind the camera. There your props behind him.
Here's one of the first big takes. Little or none is in the movie,
Do we have speed on a camera?
but I think it's fun for another reason. We have multiple cameras, and Mike must confirm that they're all running before he calls action. But he hasn't heard from a camera. Well, a camera is way over there. Now, this is before cell phones or anything else, and all we have is a few old walkie-talkies.
Cut it. I've cut because a camera is not telling me if they're speeding or not. We have lost communication.
Well, we finally found out why.
Mike, hold on. He doesn't have a radio. That has radio.
So they gave a camera a radio.
Robert, are you on walkie? I am now. Here we go. And roll cameras. Speed. And speeding. Speeding, Ron. Ready? Yeah. And action. Action.
Even then, it took a while to get the word out to the bulldozer. Also, you may have noticed that Fred Ward is actually standing in the foreground of this shot. That's because the stunt people didn't want him driving the dozer when it was going fast. And this is what they considered fast. Ron did not agree.
Joe Camp, we need to go faster. Faster, Joe. Yeah, just see it faster.
Anyway, we eventually got this very long take done, and we could move on to something else. And the something else was a complex dolly shot that Ron had designed, using this custom-built dolly track. But as we got set up to do that, the speed issue came up again.
Go faster than that, we got to.
It's hard to cut in with
You can go faster with me driving it.
you driving.
And the reason is, Mike,
Yeah.
you just have to touch this. And when you're going fast, it'll snap this cat right over there. And if he touches it by accident, anything happens, it'll go right through that dolly track. It's very, very sensitive when you get the speed up on it. So however you guys want to do it, we can do it at that speed with Fred, or we can do it faster with me, whatever you guys want.
So while Ron wrestled with that problem, the crew prepared to shoot. And here's a glimpse of our sound man with that old school Nagra tape recorder I mentioned back in video number 7. It recorded all of our sound. And just like the camera crew, the sound recorder always had to signal that he was in fact recording when we rolled cameras. Otherwise, we could shoot picture and get no sound. This was a pretty classic Hollywood shot requiring a lot of coordination with many crew people.
Hey, there we go! Solid rock!
That fella holding the big piece of styrofoam is bouncing sunlight onto the actors in the bulldozer cab, so we get a little better exposure on them in the shade. Since this was such a complex setup, we were definitely going to do multiple takes.
And action! Action!
And, spoiler alert, Ron had decided to go with a slow speed because he knew it was very important to see Fred at the controls. To digress for a moment, here's what I hope is an interesting detail. We were worried that it would be hard to shoot inside that old trailer, so we actually built a mock-up of it. Ron Underwood tells me that in fact we never used this thing. It turned out to be just as easy to use a handheld camera inside the real trailer. Meanwhile, just up the road, all this time, work on the pit was proceeding. Remember when I said we used a lot of this potting soil stuff vermiculite? That's just a few of the bags we needed to cover the lid over the pit. I also found some on-site description of what was inside.
I'm confused now. How can Dale get out to where he is?
Well, that's the edge of the pad and everything. There's a bulkhead right there, and then past that is all the air. All the air bags.
Brush.
Looking good. What's this?
That's the worm.
They were getting very close, but there was always the unexpected.
What is it? Flowing down in there? Ew.
To get a bag stuffed in there.
Well, they got that solved, and Dale here continued with the final details. He's invented a way of putting little tufts of grass out onto the middle of the very delicate surface of the pit. The reason is he wants it to look like a real desert Jeep trail. Well, here's a real desert Jeep trail, and you can see that the grass grows where the wheels don't go. And here it is once he was done. So typical of the effort our crew put into everything. Now we're getting close, and the tension is building. The plan is for Bert's stunt double, Gary Jensen, to jump beyond the pit when the dozer goes in.
I have to be leaving the bucket by the time right on the other side of Market.
But everyone is worried about what will happen if he doesn't make it.
So when all this vermiculite falls down in on you, what's that going to do?
I gotta hold my breath, and I hope he cuts quick and I'll get up.
We had to keep moving. The rest of the stunt team got into position. Oh, and here's a quick look at Gary with the real Bert, Michael Gross. We got ready to shoot.
Henry.
Careful where you walk.
I got you.
Once we get it set, I'm gonna have you plug
Guys, Larry.
in a crash box, which will turn it on.
These guys are running out of the shot. White frame line for them.
And we all got pretty quiet.
Right there is fine. Right here. Guys turning on cameras. Yeah, they're turning cameras. All go in the crash box. 5-6. Quiet. And roll cameras. Roll crash box. Action!
So, if right about now you're thinking, that doesn't look like the shot of the movie, you're right.
We're cut! Cut it, Bill!
But of course the first concern is for our stuntman.
How are you, Gary?
Well, Gary was fine, but we had a big problem. Our big effect shot had not worked. The bulldozer didn't look at all like it had been trapped in a deep pit. So frantic discussions began right away because we all knew the awful truth. We were going to have to do this again. But the pit would have to be cleaned out, the various materials inside rethought, and everything would have to be redressed. There was no way that was going to happen today. And here we are on the next day. I had the video camera, so I was recording myself driving. And now back to the set. I'm leaving it in because you can see my Beneath Perfection Productions parking card. People had been busting their butts. Everything was ready to go. And today we didn't hesitate. We wanted this shot over with. And we're going to try it again. And right before we rolled camera, Mike Tapuzian saved us from a minor disaster.
There's a broom there. What broom? To the right. What's your right?
No.
Oh
Yeah, it is.
It is. Sorry. Good call, good call.
Yo, crash box for you guys.
Here we go.
Hey, can we get second sticks there? Because we didn't get them here.
That's the camera crew making sure that those clap sticks on top of the slate actually appear on camera so the editor can get the sound in sync later.
Crash box!
We're all going. We need to go.
Okay, and action!
Action!
Cut!
We're cut!
Yeah.
Everybody stay clear.
That was very good.
Stay clear. Freeze for Polaroids.
That's good.
Good. Close. Real close. I think it worked real fine that time.
That's good.
That was great, Gary.
Great, great. Congratulations.
Great cloud of dust.
Good timing, huh?
God.
That's what you want.
Super.
Yeah.
We're taking Polaroids. We've already shot everything afterwards. Great. Completely serious. Why we should take a photo?
Thank you.
What it look like?
Wasting money just for posterity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know where the pogo bag is?
Thank you.
So now the cast came in to shoot the rest of the action. A funny side note is that during the setup, they had been shooting over and over the scene where they run to the cliff, and Finn Carter was utterly exhausted.
Mouth to mouth, somebody.
For you, Malone?
Breathe, damn it, breathe.
Get us some oxygen. Damn it, breathe. I'm not going to lose you.
Well, as you know, of course, we did finish shooting, so I'm going to go back a little bit for my ending. Ron had pronounced the shot perfect, and Mike got to say an assistant director's favorite words.
Okay, guys, we're on the move. We're moving on here.
But this time, I've got an even better ending. A very special person has been watching these videos right along with the rest of us, and I thought I should ask him to say hello.
And we're rolling.
Hi, I'm Bob Wilson. I'm glad all you fans are enjoying the video I shot on Tremors 1. A great, wonderful experience, all told, for everyone.
See you next time.